Most people waste more in one day than high performers need in a week. But what if you could flip that? What if everything could change in a year? Not even in 6 months, but starting with just 60 minutes a day. This isn't clickbait. It's architecture. Because here's the truth. Your future is being written in the quiet hours no one sees. And if you think 60 minutes isn't enough, that's exactly why your life looks the same every year. So today, we're going to break that belief and rebuild a new system. A system where 60 minutes isn't just enough. It's dangerous, it's catalytic, it's how lives are rebuilt from scratch. No fluff, no motivational sugar. Just the raw, strategic, repeatable power of what happens when you stop giving your best energy to everything that doesn't matter and start owning a single hour like your future depends on it. Because it does. Let's begin. Let's destroy the biggest lie first. You don't need more time. You need more intention. 60 minutes a day, executed with surgical focus, can outperform 10 hours of scattered hustle. But here's the problem. Most people don't know what to put in those 60 minutes. They waste them. They confuse them. They dilute them with distractions, false starts, and shallow work. So here's the framework. Lock this in. If you want your future to change, your hour must include 3 elements: clarity, power, proof. Clarity means you know exactly what matters and what doesn't. Power means you bring energy, presence, and fire into that hour, no excuses. Proof means there's a tangible outcome when that hour ends. Something got built, something moved forward, something changed. Because the world doesn't pay you for effort, it pays you for proof. So what proof are you producing every day? Start measuring it, start tracking it, start defending it like your freedom depends on it, because eventually it will. That 1 hour is where your next decade is born. That 1 hour is what separates people who dream from people who deliver. And if you're still thinking, can 1 hour really change everything? Then let me ask you, how many hours have already passed you by? How many days have you started without a plan? How many times have you reached the end of a week and wondered what actually moved? That's not a productivity problem. That's a future erosion problem. And the antidote is simple. Own the hour, but not randomly, not chaotically, not halfway. You must ritualize it. You must elevate it above every notification, every excuse, every mental loop of delay. This hour is sacred now. And once you start treating it that way, your life will begin to reshape itself around that decision. Not overnight, but inevitably. Let's get tactical. What goes into those 60 minutes? 3 non-negotiables. Energy activation, strategic creation, personal audit. First, energy activation. You don't stumble into focus. You generate it. That means movement, hydration, breath work, a pattern interrupt. Your physiology must send the signal, we're about to dominate. Second, strategic creation. This is not busy work. This is not organizing your desktop. This is output that moves your mission. Sales pages, emails, product building, learning high-value skills. You know what matters. You've just been avoiding it. That stops now. And third, personal audit. End your hour by checking your trajectory. Ask, did I use this time like my future self was watching? If the answer is no, you don't spiral, you adjust. You rewire the plan. You re-enter tomorrow with fire, not guilt. Because this isn't about being perfect. It's about being relentless. You won't get it right every time. But if you protect your sacred window will protect your destiny. Now, let me speak to the skeptics. Isn't 1 hour too little? No. 1 hour of intentional execution is more than most people give in an entire distracted day. But here's the truth. You won't even get that powerful window unless you fight for it. Because the world is designed to steal your focus. Your phone, your inbox, the news, other people's opinions, all of it is noise. And your freedom is on the other side of learning to ignore it. You don't need more apps. You need more armor. This hour, it's your fortress. And the better you defend it, the faster everything changes. Let's talk about resistance. Because once you commit to one powerful hour a day, resistance will show up. It'll whisper, "You're tired. You can skip today. It's just 1 hour, what's the big deal?" Here's the truth. That voice isn't the enemy. It's the signal that you're on the edge of real transformation. That voice only shows up when you're stepping into something meaningful. So don't silence it. Outwork it. Outdecide it. Outdiscipline it. The difference between those who level up and those who loop back isn't inspiration, it's endurance. Can you stay consistent long enough for the results to show up? Because in the beginning, there's silence. No applause. No visible return. Just the proving ground. Just the process. But then, the shift. Your mind sharpens. Your confidence builds. Your identity starts to change. People notice, even if they don't say it. Your tone changes. Your walk changes. Your standards become a filter. And suddenly what used to be just 60 minutes becomes the most dangerous part of your day. It becomes untouchable. And once you've protected it long enough, it starts protecting you. You speak clearer. You decide faster. You think bigger because your life finally has non-negotiables. So here's your mission. Don't just do the command center. Become the person who never misses the hour. That version of you, they already exist. Now go become them. Let's bring it home. Because some of you still don't feel ready. You're waiting for the perfect plan, the perfect mood, the perfect proof. But here's the secret. The people you admire, they started in chaos. They started when it didn't make sense. They started when no one was watching. And then they kept showing up every single day with 60 minutes of power, of presence, of non-negotiable work. That's how excellence is built. Not by luck, not by genius, but by the kind of discipline that gets boring before it gets beautiful. So here's your line in the sand. You don't owe anyone an explanation. You owe your future proof. 60 minutes, locked in, daily. Not because it's easy, but because you're done pretending you don't know what to do. Now you know. You build 1 hour at a time, one decision at a time, until your life looks like it was designed on purpose. Because it was. Because you did. And it all started with just 1 hour. Let that be your legacy. Let that be your line. Let that be the hour that changed everything. Let's flip the script on discipline. It's not restriction. It's identity. The moment you say, "I'm the kind of person who never misses that 1 hour," everything else starts to align. Your energy stops leaking into distractions. Your confidence stops depending on motivation. Your relationships improve because your self-respect improves. This is the hour that recalibrates who you are. And people will feel it. You won't have to announce it. They'll notice you speak less but mean more. You move slower but strike harder. You plan sharper but with less clutter. Because that hour becomes the furnace where your new self is forged. And not everyone will understand. They'll say, "You've changed." And you'll say, "Finally." Because you were never meant to stay stuck in average. This hour is how you escape. Not once, but daily. Until the escape becomes elevation. Until the hour becomes your edge. And your life becomes untouchable. So if you've ever felt behind, like you're late to your own potential, like your life hasn't matched your mind, let this be your permission. Not to catch up, but to take over. 1 hour. Today. Then again tomorrow. And again. And again. Until the world has no choice but to adjust to the power you bring. Because once you own that hour, everything bows to it. And if you still feel doubt, that's okay. Doubt is normal at the edge of change. But here's what's not okay. Letting that doubt win. You've tried waiting. You've tried hoping. Now try deciding. Try becoming. Try showing up even when it's silent, even when it's inconvenient, even when no one else sees the work. Because eventually they will. Not because you told them, but because you became undeniable. And that 1 hour? It wasn't just a block on a calendar. It was a revolution. A daily, relentless, unshakable revolution that rebuilt your life from the inside out. So when you wake up tomorrow, don't question it. Just step into it. Let that 1 hour remind you who you are. Let that 1 hour silence every excuse. Let that 1 hour be proof that everything is still possible. You don't need more time. You just need to use it like it matters. Because it does. And now, so do you. Let's make something clear. You are not lazy. You are not broken. You are not behind. You've simply been conditioned to believe that power comes from chaos. That success requires burnout. That if it doesn't hurt, it doesn't count. But that's false. Your next level won't come from exhaustion. It will come from alignment. From clarity. From the hour you finally decide to own. Let's talk about that hour again, because some people still don't get it. It's not about time management. It's about identity reinforcement. Every time you enter that hour, you're not just working. You're voting. Voting for your future. Voting for your values. Voting for the version of you that used to only exist in your imagination. And those votes, they compound. They stack. They build a future that people will call luck. But you'll know it wasn't. It was deliberate. It was boring. It was beautiful. And it all started when you drew the line and said, no more random, no more reactive. This hour is mine. And here's the part no one tells you. Once you master this 1 hour, the rest of your life starts to reorganize itself. Your decisions become cleaner. Your distractions lose their grip. You stop negotiating with mediocrity. You start expecting more from yourself, from your environment, from your future. And that expectation, it starts to create pressure. But not the pressure that breaks you, the pressure that builds you. Because when you finally step into your potential, your comfort zones will panic. Good. Let them. They were never meant to come with you. You're not here to maintain. You're here to multiply. One focused hour at a time. So take this hour and make it sacred. Not because someone told you to, but because you've seen what happens when you don't. You've lived the drift. Now live the design. You don't need another miracle. You just need a schedule. And that hour at the center of it all, that's your revolution. Don't break it. Build from it. Let's zoom out for a moment. What if this hour isn't just a tool, but a test? A test of how deeply you trust yourself. A test of how committed you are to building something no one else can see yet. A test of how long you can play the long game when the short game is louder, easier, and popular. Most people fail that test. Not because they're weak, but because they forgot how powerful their focus could be. You're not going to be one of them. You're going to remember. Every time you sit down, every time you silence the noise, every time you say, this is the hour that matters. And if you can do that for 7 days, then 30, then 90, you will wake up one day in a life that others will call impossible. But for you, it'll be normal, expected, earned. And that's the best part. You'll no longer be shocked by your success. You'll be steady, because it wasn't a fluke. It was the hour, repeated, defended, revered. So here's your final challenge. Don't chase the outcome. Fall in love with the hour. Build it like your future depends on it, because it does. And if you ever forget why you started, return to the work. It will remind you. You see, the danger of an unclaimed hour isn't just that it's wasted. It's that it gets filled by someone else's agenda. The moment you stop defending your attention, someone else will monetize it. Your phone, the algorithm, the inbox. They're all competing for the hour you said would be sacred. And unless you guard it like it builds your future, it won't. It will dissolve into scrolls, clicks, and the illusion of progress. But you know better now. You know that progress isn't loud. It's silent. It's focused. It's intentional. You know that mastery isn't chaotic. It's consistent. It's boring. It's sacred. So treat your hour like a contract with yourself. A contract that says, no matter what comes up, this hour belongs to the version of me I'm becoming. And if you honor that contract over time, something extraordinary happens. The pressure fades. The identity shifts. The results compound, not just in money, but in peace, in strength, in clarity. That's the real win. Not just doing more, but becoming someone you trust, someone you admire. And it starts every day with the hour you now refuse to compromise. Now let's get even more real. If you miss one day, it's okay. But if you miss two, you're building a pattern. 1 day is a slip, 2 days is a seed, 3 days is a system. And you're either building the system that saves your life or the one that buries it. That's why the hour matters. Because it's not just about the hour. It's about momentum. And momentum is brutal. It always compounds in your favor or against it. So be ruthless with how you start your day, with what you allow into your hour, with how you talk to yourself when it's time to execute. You're not just working, you're training, you're proving, you're unlocking the next version of your life. 1 rep at a time. 1 page, 1 decision, 1 hour. And if that sounds dramatic good, it should, because so is wasting your potential. So is delaying your gift. So is ignoring the version of you that's ready to rise. Let them laugh. Let them scroll. You're building something they won't understand until it's too late. Until you've become so consistent, so aligned, so sharp, there's no turning back. And then, finally, you'll know what it means to be free. And here's the truth nobody says out loud. If you don't design your life, someone else will. And you probably won't like their blueprint. That's why this hour matters. It's where design begins, where you step out of reaction and into creation, where you silence the noisy and amplify the signal, where you go from hoping to building. That's why you don't negotiate it. That's why you don't apologize for it. That's why you show up even when you're tired, unfocused, or uninspired. Because this hour doesn't care how you feel. It only reflects what you value. And when your values are clear, your excuses don't stand a chance. So take a deep breath, look at your calendar, and draw the line. This hour is yours now. Make it count. Make it real. Make it permanent. Because this is how the future is written. 1 hour, 1 decision, 1 identity. And once that hour is locked, in everything else shifts. Your focus, your energy, your standard, your story. And when that story changes, so does your life. Let this be the moment. The one you look back on. The one where it all changed. Not with noise. Not with a dramatic pivot. But with a quiet, powerful decision. I own this hour now. Every revolution has a trigger. This is yours. So breathe deep. Stand tall. And tomorrow when the hour comes, don't flinch. Don't scroll. Don't hesitate. Execute. With fire. With clarity. With reverence. Because that hour, that one sacred, protected hour, that's your superpower. And your future is waiting. Because someday they'll ask, how did you do it? And you'll smile. Not because it was easy, but because it was simple. 1 hour. Owned. Protected. Repeated. Until the world couldn't ignore you. Until the results spoke louder than the doubts. Until your life was no longer a reaction, but a masterpiece. That's the truth. That's the plan. Now make it real. And when the world gets louder again, and it will, when the distractions creep in, when the comfort of routine whispers louder than your calling, remember the hour. Remember the version of you that showed up even when it was hard. That chose progress over comfort. That chose vision over noise. That chose to lead a life of intention instead of imitation. Because in the end, it was never about time. It was about what you did with it. And now you know exactly what to do. You just have to do it again. 1 more hour. 1 more day. One more bold decision in the direction of the life you were built for. And if you ever forget the power of it all, just check the clock and begin again.